Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Dominic, aka Dominic Cyber Genius, and I'm coming back to you guys with another video. This video is going to be on Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and how they just suffered a ransomware attack and the 2.5 million people that were actually affected by it. So let's get to it. I'm going to break it down in the Cyber Threat Intelligence report. So let's go. Let's get this report started off. So those that don't know, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare has disclosed that they recently suffered a data breach, specifically a ransomware attack, and that it occurred in 2023 this year. In April, about 2.5 million users were affected. The exact number was 2,550,922. And those are all the people that had their sensitive information stolen as well. The healthcare organization stated in a notice that the threat actor behind the attack was able to gain access to their systems between March 28th and April 17th of this year. So we could see that this happened maybe a good 2 to 3 months ago, and that for about a few days or at least a week or two, the threat actor was able to get into their systems, get the information, and then exfiltrate it out. The threat actors also stated that they sold that information, and the information that the threat actors did steal included full names, physical addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, health insurance information, social security numbers, provider, taxpayer identification numbers, and clinical information. Specifically for this clinical information, it was medical history, it was diagnosis, it was treatments, dates of service, and provider names. All that information is very sensitive. All of that needs to be sacred and kept. And when it comes to these healthcare industries and organizations, when they get hit, they lose a lot of information, and a lot of information on patients can be, exfiltrated and put on the dark web for other hackers and attackers to get and claim. And eventually, all this information can be used for identity theft, social engineering attacks, as well as phishing attacks. Because think of it like this: if someone knows your medical history and your diagnosis, and say you were diagnosed with cancer, right? And they know that you've had it for about 2 years now. And they also know your phone number, your date of birth, your email, your name, and all your health insurance information. And a threat actor crafts an email from your care saying, hey, I'm from Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, yada, yada, yada. You need to fill this out to make sure that, everything's good with your account. Then you might actually fall for it because all the signs are pointing there. They're using all that information to make it easier for you to fall for it and make it more believable. So that's why all this information getting stolen is very sensitive and very, very serious when it actually does occur. Next, for the attack tactics, techniques, and procedures, usually I base these off of ransomware. I didn't see anything where they had to shut down or reboot anything, but usually with a ransomware attack, that can sometimes happen. And then I got data manipulation and destruction. Like how I said again, all this sensitive information can be used in negative ways and can affect users a lot. And their identities can be stolen, and other things that are even worse can happen to them based off of that information getting stolen. Privilege escalation. So the threat actor was able to exfiltrate all this information out, and they're trying to use that against you, maybe for phishing or social engineering attacks, and then trying to gain privilege escalation towards your accounts or whatever you have dealing with the healthcare organization. Then I got reconnaissance, which is phishing for information, gather victim identity information. All those pieces of data that I listed was part of this, right? The social security numbers, the date of birth, the phone numbers, the physical addresses. That's all from reconnaissance. Then I got resource development, compromised accounts, and infrastructure. This is a compromise. They were able to get into their systems between March 28th through April 17th. And through that time frame, they were able to compromise infrastructures, and they were able to gather information that can possibly compromise accounts if used in a negative way. And then lastly, credential access. All this information can be used for phishing attacks, and the threat actors can then lure you into giving up your credentials, and then that's how they get the credential access to your actual accounts. Next, I got affected assets and organizational impact. So the healthcare organization did clarify that the security incident actually impacts current and former members of Harvard Pilgrim. So it's not just current. Former people are, affected by this, and this actually dates back to March 29th, 2012. So that's crazy. It dates back 10 years of patience. So you know how much information and data that is? It can be thousands. It could possibly be, not even thousands, it's millions, like how they were saying earlier. So that's why this is very big. And, if certain accounts aren't deleted or certain information isn't stashed when those members don't work there no more, then, that can be big vulnerability for a company. Like how I was saying again, if it's put in the wrong hands, then it can expose affected users to phishing and social engineering attacks. That's just stating that how I said it again. And then it's also very common for these ransomware groups to exploit stolen data, and they usually do it to pressure victims into complying with them and meeting their ransom demands. And if companies don't pay the ransom, attackers may sell the data or release it to other cyber criminals on the dark web onto hacking forums. And then those threat actors can then sell the data, or they can just use it for their own benefit and negatively affect you. Lastly, mitigation and response, HPHC, or Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, stated that it is providing affected individuals with credit monitoring and identity theft protection services. To be honest, I don't think that's enough. That type of information that got out is so bad that somebody can actually pretend to be you and steal your identity and maybe even clone your identity. Because if they have access to my date of birth, they have access to my social and full name, they can get stuff in my name, they can buy stuff, they can open bank accounts, they can get a car, they can get all this information and, can ruin my life and, splurge and do whatever it is that they want. So I don't think providing that is enough, right? It's good. I'm glad that they're doing that, but they need to provide a lot more. I don't know what it would be. You guys can let me know in the comments, but I don't know what that would be when it comes to what they can provide else besides that. But I do know that credit monitoring and identity theft protection is not enough. Maybe they can provide, I don't know if there's services out there that allow you to re-register a social security number or, have something like that. But a lot of that stuff should be free, or not even free. They should make it free, or even if it's something healthcare related where you get free healthcare or free this for a certain amount of time. I don't know. They would have to figure that out. But all I'm saying is that identity theft and credit monitoring are not enough. The healthcare organizations also inform the users that they haven't seen any cases of misuse of the stolen data from its systems. We don't know. Most likely probably is. If it's over 2.5 million users, then yes, most likely there probably is some misuse. They just haven't seen it yet. And then lastly, they have advised former and current employees or members, to be cautious and be aware of any unsolicited messages about the ransomware attack sent to them. So it's always good to stay vigilant, stay aware of these attacks, be on the lookout for your emails. Don't be trigger happy and click on everything. Make sure you read all your emails and make sure that you're being precise when you're going through them. And that's it for my cyber threat intelligence report on Harvard Pilgrim. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Pilgrim. Sorry if I said Pilgrim the whole time, but I think it is Pilgrim or Pilgrim, one of the others. Sorry if I butchered that during the report, but that's it. And you guys already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.